It's Dave.
And Dan.
All right, and welcome to Hooked On Headwaters. If you haven't watched this channel in the past, maybe you're new, we are all about enhancing your fishing experience. We kind of focus on we're blessed to have Headwaters Lake, which is behind us.
Yep.
Stick Marsh, Three Forks down that way, Blue Cypress down that way,
Garcia,
and Lake Garcia that way. So those are the kind of the lakes we kind of live near and are home based. But with that said, we've got a Beyond the Headwaters segments coming up where we're going to go beyond where we are now and introduce other fishing topics, some adventure stuff.
Yeah, maybe some different special destinations.
Dan and I are going to maybe hit the road, and check out a couple of cool places in Florida. So that's coming up in the next couple of months. So I'm very excited about that segment that we're about to do. So Dan, you've been crazy busy.
Yeah.
Dan has had charters after charters. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
And but he's been out there. And it's the weather here, the lake here is kind of changing. But before we get to that, tell us about the lake and what's going on with fishing.
Well, it's kind of been a little troublesome for me the last few days. So what I've been doing for the past 3.5, 4 weeks, it died. I'm yet to figure out why.
Yeah.
Places where it had a place where I was catching 30 to sometimes 50 fish in a day.
Yep.
And some of that on artificial, it quit. And I haven't figured out exactly what's happened yet. I think it has something to do, this is a Friday, today's Friday.
Yeah.
My days run together anymore. I think it was Monday, we had a front come through, or was it Tuesday? Sorry, recently we had a front come through.
Yes.
So for about 3 weeks, we had mainly south and southwest winds.
Right.
Warm temperatures. And then we have a slight little front come through, change the weather patterns a little bit, and what I was doing shut off.
Yep.
So I was fishing some open water, hydrilla flats, and it quit. And I'm not really sure why yet, but I think that's what it was. But I'm still catching fish. The live bait has definitely been a plus. The last several days has been good.
Right.
Since I did a video, I had a guy catch a 10-pounder last week, a 10-1.
We'll show a picture.
Yeah, the same day he caught a 7 and something.
That's a good
little
day.
while later he caught the 10, then he caught an 8 and a 6, basically the same time. Yeah, he was fighting one fish and the other shiner got bit.
God,
so it's not a normal day.
Yeah.
It's not a typical day. So remember the last videos that you watched, manage your expectations. It's not always that way. Had a decent day today. We got 35-ish fish. Most were on shiners.
Yeah.
Did catch some because it's been tough. Did get some on a wacky rig Cinco. Watermelon red has been my color lately. And honestly, prior to, I was catching them really well on jerk baits.
Yep.
Floating jerk baits, not suspending jerk baits.
Yep.
But that has now died for me, so I'm back in the hunt to do some other things. So water temperature's been about low 70s to mid 70s. Today was 75, 76. And I'm still catching fish around. I'm transitioned. I've been catching some fish more in the more deeper water than what I have been. So I was fishing shallow 3 to 5. Now I'm back fishing a little bit deeper water, but mainly with shiners. I'm catching more with shiners in the deeper water.
Now these fish full of eggs. So where are we in the spawn? I guess
it's still going on. This is what I think. There's some fish that have already spawned. Yeah. And which is evident. Fish that are kind of skinny and rode out. But Wednesday had a 7-9, I think. We were taking pictures. The guy was cradling the fish, and eggs actually came out of this big female. So, and I've been catching a lot of fish that still have their bellies are kind of swollen. So there's still fish that haven't spawned yet. Yeah. I'm thinking that maybe this little change in weather might change the spawn, but
we have a cold front coming in.
Next week we have two, I think.
Two, right?
So that's going to change some things up. Yeah. But the fish are still in the spawn. I don't know what it is. Maybe the fish spawn later in the day, but I see a lot of beds. Many of them are tilapia, but I have seen very few fish actually guarding beds.
Right.
There may be other guys in other places of the lake. Some of the stuff I've been fishing, the water's been a little too deep or dark color in holes in hydrilla to actually see.
Yeah.
But I'm almost certain that the fish are spawning in those areas. But in the past, well, since the beginning of this pond, I've only seen a handful of fish actually guarding.
Yeah.
So there are some other areas in the lake where, like I said, somebody else may be actually sight fishing. I have not been able to do any of it. So.
Okay. Yeah, I was out on my kayak, I guess, last week, and same thing. I saw beds, but no one was home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were bass, but they were the smaller beds. So if you're not familiar with the lake here, we have a lot of tilapia here. As a matter of fact, I'll show you a picture. I went.
Oh, you went bow fishing?
I went bow fishing with my buddy of mine, and we killed them.
Yeah, literally.
Folks, tilapia here are, I'm not exaggerating, they are big tilapia. And we have, I'll call them I don't have the exact name, they're kind of the lighter colored tilapia, they're pinkish, and you have the darker.
I think there's a blue tilapia, and I can't recall the other.
Yeah, and so kind of whack them up, and they are good eating. So what I was alluding to before is that you'll see the smaller beds. And if you're not familiar with tilapia, they make bigger beds.
Yeah, typically.
Right? Typically, and I'm always amazed at just how perfectly round they can be.
And they're bowl shaped, like a mixing bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're very, very white.
Yeah.
Now some of the bass beds, I've seen bass beds that are very large.
Okay.
But they're flat.
Yeah.
And I've seen some that are very small. Typically, what I've seen once you're into the spawn and when you got fish guarding, like a female guarding, you'll have a white bed with a smaller patch in the middle that's usually darker because they're not fanning that because their eggs are there. Now the tilapias are just stark white, bright white, and they can fool you. But you know, those areas that you see them, I've caught bass that on beds around those tilapia beds. So it's kind of an aggravation, really, having the tilapia here. It is an aggravation having the tilapia here. They're an invasive, and it'd be nice if Dave killed more of them. And I may do some of that sometime soon. I'd like to go bow fishing. That'd be fun. Someday Dave and I will go bow fishing.
Yep. And just to give you a visual, when we were shooting the tilapia, it was like the tilapia were, for the most part, they are on the beds. So it was like shooting a bullseye. The target and the bullseye, and just aim at the bullseye. Actually, when you bow fish, you don't aim or shoot at what you see. You aim 6 to 12 inches below the air because of diffraction of light. But that's another video for another time. Yeah,
maybe we'll do that. That'll be fun.
It will be.
And you were at Three Forks.
We were at Three Forks.
Okay.
Yes. With that said, we mentioned this last week. We reported that Stick Marsh is being lowered. They're drawing it down. They have a vegetation project. They need to lower Three Forks at the same time. So Three Forks will be really low, which means I don't see anyone getting back there on a boat, on a regular boat, without having a mud motor or an airboat.
And the reason they have to lower that, lower Three Forks, which is north of Farm 13, Stick Marsh, so they have to have the water from Stick Marsh Farm 13 to go somewhere, and that's where it's going. So that's why they have to lower both bodies of water.
So more about that. We're hopefully we'll get more details about that from FWC in a couple of weeks. So look forward to that. Before we move on, I want to make sure we thank the Davis House Inn. You're looking for a neat place to stay right on the Sebastian River, on the waterfront. They can accommodate your boat. Give them a shout. It's a cool place. Lots of eateries. Great place. You come with your family, spouse, great place for them as well. And we also want to mention the Blue Cypress Lakeside Cabins. A little more rustic setting.
On beautiful Blue Cypress Lake.
That's nice. In old Florida. Check it out. So I want to talk about today, real quickly, about this rod. This is a Halo KS2 Elite rod. Now this is a medium heavy fast action tip. Now many of you know, I kayak guide, fishing guide, and I use these rods both for freshwater and saltwater. So it just stays on the kayak. On the kayak, I have limited space, so I find this to be a great all-around rod. And stainless steel guides with the zirconium inserts. I love cork, really nice.
Yeah, cool with the
really cool
accents on it.
Yep. I paired this up with an SLX rod, a reel. It works for me. I think I've got 40-pound test on here, a braided line, and I'll show you the specs here. You can purchase this from AmericanBaitworks.com, and if you use our coupon code Headwaters15, that will give you 15% off this rod. So there are other codes out there, and I'm asking you as a favor to us, and in a way to support us, use our code, please. And these will ship for free. Again, really great rod. I love the action, and I kind of abuse stuff, equipment. This thing.
That's what happens in a kayak, you know.
And again, this goes from freshwater to saltwater and back, and both the casting version and the spinning version are absolutely phenomenal rods. So
what baits do you like for that particular blank in that rod?
So I call this my utility rod. So this I use worms, and I'll use plastic swim baits, paddle tails. Paddle tails. That's what I use this for most of the time. Again, all around. I'm not afraid to use. I put anything on this.
But it's more of
it's not a cranking rod.
It's not a top water rod. It's more like soft plastic worm fishing. Throwing swim baits in the river. Big boppers.
Exactly.
Swim baits.
Exactly.
Okay.
And again, my clients use this. They love it. And again, it's just good all around rod.
It feels like a good worm rod to me when I pick it up and handle it.
It is. I'm cheapo, and I want to get good value for my money and good utility for my money. And I think I can certainly recommend this and say that this is the rod. Again, my all-around rod.
And coming up, we have mentioned this before. We also have some punching rods that we're going to do a video on.
In addition to that video, I also have some more kayak footage that'll be coming up. I got a bass trip tomorrow and a couple more next week, so hopefully I get some good footage for you guys.
And it was interesting. Dave was explaining to me, had a really tall man today that experienced kayaks. So yes, you tall guys, you big men, yes, you can kayak.
Went fishing. This is a saltwater trip. He's a great guy. He's a big dude, and he was a big concern about his size and on the kayak. I explained to him that my kayak's capacity is 600 pounds, so no problem. Apparently he had touched base with a couple other guys, and they said no, we really can't take you, or we prefer not to take you, which I understand. But anyway, I guess we went out, and he had a fabulous time. Caught fish, and when we left, he's buying a kayak. So Old Town, you need to send me a little commission on that.
Old Town, come on.
Well, that's it, Dan. Anything else?
No, that's all I can pull out of my little pea brain.
All right.
For today for you.
Well, hope that helps you this week. If you're coming down, hey, comment down below. Let us know when you're coming. We can meet you. Love to meet you by the boat ramp. We've been filming from the boat ramp sort of on a regular basis, so love to say hello and meet you guys. I know we've got a couple of guys have told us they're coming next week and the following week, and hopefully we'll get together and just say a quick hello and tell you guys doing. Got a quick fishing report for us.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it. I'm done.
That's all I got.
So long, everyone. Have a great week. God bless.
See you guys.